Hey everyone, it's Mark here, that's me, and today we're looking at getting a top score on your IELTS reading test. And specifically, I want to look at the true, false, not given questions that many of you hate. I have found a way to teach my students to prepare for these questions, and after one or two lessons, they get them all perfect. It's a beautiful thing for me to watch. Students do them the first time, they get 1 out of 5, and after a week or two, they get them perfect. But one important thing you must do to get that top score in IELTS is be able to read well. Now, we're going to do headings in this as well, because if you can do headings well, then these are really easy. So let's just jump into it. I won't waste your time. First rule, do not skim and scan. This is a waste of time. If you've taken the test recently and gotten 5 or 6, do not skim and scan. I know that most teachers teach this method. It is bad teaching advice. In my entire 25 years of my own education at high school, university, and graduate school, never did I skim and scan, and never did anyone tell me to do that. Stop doing it. Read quickly and look for the main idea of each paragraph. This is a skill that you must practice, and we're going to practice it right now. So let's have a look. This is an authentic text from an IELTS practice book called Focus on IELTS from Pearson Publishing. They are a wonderful company with wonderful textbooks for IELTS. But to help you, I will make this just a little bit bigger. Let's make it 150. Boom, that's a lot easier to read. Now, this is a wonderful text about the walking school bus. What I will get you to do is have a read over it one paragraph at a time. Now, what I want you to do is don't worry about every single word. Don't worry about every single sentence. Try to understand the main idea of the paragraph and then write down what it is about. Take 1 minute, no more. I would say even for this, 30 seconds to read the paragraph. Try to push yourself as quickly as you can and get an idea of what it's about. So you've got 1 minute to read it. All right, pause the video, read it, 20 seconds at the most. Okay, so the first paragraph is always going to be roughly the same thing, some sort of intro. Okay, easy, not a big deal. In this case, intro, I would say problem. Okay, so introduction. Decline in children who walk every day. Health and environmental movement. Main goal. All right, so I would just leave this one as the introduction. This one is pretty easy. I don't think they actually mention too much of a problem, but that one's usually going to be pretty easy. They talk about the introduction, and it says here walking school bus, so it's about students walk to school. So intro, let's just make that walk to school or walking school bus. Now, it gets more important, more interesting in the second paragraph. So I want you to take 30 seconds right now and read this paragraph and just get a simple idea of what this paragraph is about. Okay, so I hope you paused it and read it. Now let's look. The main idea, how it works. Okay, so in this paragraph, they give you specific information. On a walking school bus, a driver calls specific stops along the set. Okay, so again, even if you're not sure exactly, you're seeing these things. Okay, there's a driver. They walk together. That first sentence tells you a lot, how it works. Now, in the IELTS reading test, a lot of the texts, the second or third paragraph will be on this topic. It is very predictable. So for those of you who are still watching, this is the important piece of information. All right, these are very predictable. In any given IELTS test, that second paragraph will usually be how it works. Okay? And then it continues with how it works. At the end of the day, okay, and then again, how it works. They begin walking home. Okay, so there is someone at the front of the bus and someone at the rear. Okay, again, how it works. Now, the next paragraph, if you've seen some of my other videos on reading, you will have seen this as well. Take a minute and read this whole paragraph and see if you can figure out what the main topic is. 20 seconds, pause it now. Okay. So I'm looking at this, and I mean the first sentence tells me everything. Originated in 1998. Now, if your English is not good enough to understand originated, you need to know that word. You need to be building your vocabulary. Originated in 1988. Idea spread through Britain and then moved to Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Okay. Because of the social and physical benefits of the walking school, it continued to grow. So again, I'm seeing a lot of these words. And where's that other one? Idea spread. I would go on here as saying this is about the history. Okay. Now another possible one for this one could be about benefits, because they mention social and physical benefits here, and they mention how there are numerous advantages here, but they only really mention that as a note. It's only mentioned briefly, but it's really talking about the history of how it started in England, spread around the world, but it hasn't quite worked in the USA yet. Okay, so I'd go with that one, history. Now, you're starting to understand. Each paragraph has a single idea. The next one, go ahead and pay attention to the first sentence because it's going to tell you a lot. 20 seconds, read the next paragraph. All right, I hope you paused it and read it. If you didn't, pause it now and read it. Well, let's actually do this together. Perhaps the greatest advantage. Okay, so if I'm a writer, that's I'm telling you with these 4 words that this whole paragraph is possibly or probably going to be about an advantage. Health benefits of regular physical exercise. So, with the rise of childhood obesity, significant factor. Studies show 14% of young people are not physically active. Overweight. Reduce these percentages. So, benefit, health. Okay. Now, be careful. Sometimes the first sentence will say, oh, the first advantage is this, and then here they'll say, but in this case, it does not. This is an easier one. All right, so benefit, health. Now, take a look at paragraph E. Pause for 20 seconds, read this paragraph, and get the idea. Okay, so you probably saw this. Socialize. I get to talk to my friends. All right. Benefit. Socializing. Easy. We're going to go a little bit quicker now. Read this one. Same thing. All right. Improves the quality of the urban environment, reducing traffic congestion and pollution. 19.5 fewer cars. Easy. Benefit, environment. Now these are also, social, health, environment. These are all topics that they love to talk about in the IELTS test. Subjects you should know about. Subjects you can expect. Last paragraph. Go ahead. All right. The final paragraph is often predictable. Future. That's usually where I leave it. It's usually the future. It could be a prediction. It could be a warning. It could be a recommendation. Helps create a positive... And yeah, okay, so usually it's about the future here, but in this case, they're just talking about overall benefits. So future and conclusion. positive school image in the local community. So we'll leave it at that. Benefit school image. Often, the last paragraph is something about the future, like in the future it will be better, in the future this will happen. All right, now we're going to get to some of the important questions that come with this. Now, the main thing we always teach our students here at Primus, where I work, is to look at the headings questions. Now, here are the headings questions. And I mean, you're going to read over them. The strategy here, read over them, and if you know which one it is, answer it right away. Okay? If you're not sure, go to the next one. Now, this one's pretty easy. Benefiting the local environment. Well, look at this. You've already got here, environment. All right, so that's paragraph F. All right, so benefiting the local environment, you know that's going to be paragraph F. So that one's going to go here. All right, the development of the walking school bus. All right, well, development, I think that's history. All right, so that one is hold on 2 seconds. We've got development of the walking school bus. All right, like that could be history. That could be how it works. I'm not totally sure. Let's skip that one for now. Allowing children to communicate. All right, I'm pretty sure that one is socializing. All right, so that's paragraph E. So paragraph E, number 5, is going to be 3. All right, the aim of the walking school bus. Now that one's a little bit harder, but if you remember here, the main goal. So that one's a bit more of a challenging one because you have to remember specific piece of information. So that's where you want to watch out. Like, again, skimming and scanning will make that one be like, oh, main goal, aim. But again, right, then you're looking for this one little piece of language in all of this text. So this one, the main goal, we'll call that one number right here. Where is it? Yeah. Sorry, where is that? The aim is going to be paragraph A, so that's 1. All right. Providing healthy daily exercise, benefit health. Which one is that? D. So paragraph D is going to be 5. How the walking school bus works. So that's why I'm kind of glad I didn't look at these two, because again I had how it works. So how it works is definitely going to be paragraph B. Good. Then moving on, playing a part in the community. So that one is that last one here. Where is it? School image, local community, safety and socialization. I'd say that one's a bit more challenging. There you've just got those simple words, local community. So I'd go that one there. Then the last one, the development of the walking school bus. All right, so the one that we've got left here. Yeah. Number 3, so paragraph C is number 2, history. All right, so again, that's a beautiful thing. History, development. So that's the main thing. If you learn to get the idea, it's like you're trying to give your own heading to the paragraph. And just keep in mind, certain ones are quite common. How it works, history, and benefit, and what the benefit is. All right, these are extremely predictable. Now that that's done, let's move on to the more important one, the true, false, not given. So true, false, not given, if the statement agrees with the information, it's true. You're going to read this sentence here and say, does it agree with the text? true, yes or no? If it contradicts it, does it say opposite, or if there is no information? Okay, you've maybe heard some other strategies for this. The main thing I recommend is that you break each sentence into two or three parts. So in this case, okay, fewer children walk to school. All right, so there's a second part, walk to school. My mouse is not being cooperative. Walk to school, and then now, then in the past. All right, so they're making this comparison. Fewer children walk to school now than in the past. All right, so first of all, one thing to remember about true, false, not given is they will go in order. So it's gonna, if the answer for this one is in paragraph B, then the answers for the rest of them are going to be in C, D, E, and F. You're not going to be jumping around. They will go in order. So that's the first thing to remember. So now, then in the past, fewer children. That's going to be in the first few paragraphs. It's comparing with the past, so that could be here. It could be in history, which means it could also be up here somewhere. Doesn't make it necessarily easier. Now, I'm sure if you've had some other IELTS training, you did see this whole concept of significant decline, so that will actually tell you something. Now, a key thing to look for here, to remember, is when you read the test, or when you read the text, you want to find these three ideas, all right? You want to find fewer children, walk to school, and now then in the past. If all three of those ideas are in the text, all three, then it is true. All right? If one of them is missing, then it is not given. If one of them is contradictory, now this is where you watch out for a word like fewer. It might say more, in which case it will be false. All right? So watch out for that one. If there's a piece of information missing, or two pieces of information missing, it's going to be not given. When it's false, it's usually because it's going to say the opposite, like more children walk to school now. Looking at number 2 for false ones, again, the walking school bus. All right, so there's one idea. Does not run, and it is when it is raining. All right, so again, then you've got your three ideas. When you read the text, you're going to look for those three ideas. The bus does not run when it is raining. Now here is where you find if it's going to be false. Does not run. So the opposite would be it runs. Or the walking school bus does run when it's raining. Number 3, the idea of the walking school bus, one idea, comes from the US. Okay, where does it come from? Here I would just say advantage of the walking school bus, the walking school bus. Advantage, walking school bus, doesn't cost any money. And remember, the opposite, the opposite, if you're looking for a false, is going to be here. It does cost money. And then finally, walking school bus, popular, Australia. Okay. So, fewer children walk to school now than in the past. Let's take a look. So, a lot of you may have got this one really quickly. Children who walk to school each day. Okay. Walk to school. There's one. Significant decline in the number of children. Okay. So that's it. Fewer children and compared with previous generations. So that's now than in the past. Now be careful. A lot of teachers are saying look for synonyms. That doesn't always work. All right? Sometimes you have to look for the same idea, not the synonym, because there's no synonym here. They say significant decline, but instead they say fewer children. All right? So that's the same idea, but it's not a synonym. All right? So yeah, That's right there. Significant decline in the number of children who walk to school each day compared with previous generations. All three are there, and therefore this one is true. The walking school bus does not run when it's raining. Now, this tells you a very good one. When it's raining, that makes me think how it works. Okay? Like, that's where you're going to find this information. So if you have a look, take a minute and take a look. Pause the video if you need to. Where does it mention, or does it mention rain? And remember, you're looking for those things. Does not run when it is raining. Now, if you have looked carefully in here, you will find, where is it? Yes, down here at the bottom, you see regardless of weather. So walking school bus, there's one idea. Consistency, depend on the consistency. Now, believe it or not, that is the idea here of runs. So the walking school bus is consistent, so it does run, and then here, regardless of the weather. Now that's a tricky one. This is one where your vocabulary and grammar may impact your score. Regardless of the weather, that means in all kinds of weather. So in fact, that means this one's going to be false because it says that in all weather it runs. All right, so operates on a regular timetable. Yeah, the school bus does run when it's raining. So it's saying the opposite. The key here is this one. It's a contradiction. This one says it runs in all weather, and this one says does not run when it's raining. So this one's going to be false. That one's a little bit more challenging. The next one, I believe, is a little bit easier. Comes from the US. It's really simple. Originated in St. Albans, England. So the idea, all right, so the concept comes from, originated, England, not the US. So that's false. One of the advantages of the walking school bus is that it doesn't cost money. So what you'd maybe look for here is does cost money or has something there. Now, at no point in here in the history do they mention anything about money. Now, it seems likely that it could be free, but there is no mention of that at all. So that's a rare one. Usually they give you a clue, like they'll mention well, they have mentioned advantages, but they haven't mentioned anything about money. So they've mentioned benefit health, benefit socializing, benefit environment, benefit, but nothing about money. That one is not given. The walking school bus, popular in Australia. So again, we're going to look at our history because they talk about Australia here. So there's Australia. Okay, let's put that here. And then here they say adopted quickly. And that's, yes, popular. So again, be very careful. When your teachers tell you to look for keywords, that's not always going to help you because the idea of adopted quickly would link to being popular. So that one is going to be true. So remember, you've got paragraph A, then you've got paragraph B, and then you've got two that are in paragraph B, and then two that are in paragraph C. So remember, those are going to go in order, and ensuring that you've understood the entire paragraph is what's really going to help. I really love focusing on these two types of question because if you can really learn to do these well, I mean, look at that. That's 7 questions here and 5 questions here. I mean, if you just focus on these two types of question, that's potentially 12 easy answers out of 20. And also, if you really practice these headings questions, that's going to improve your reading ability. Please, please, please do not skim and scan, especially if you're trying to get from a 6 to a 7. If you're trying to get from a 5 to a 7, you must improve your reading, and that comes from practicing your reading. Best of luck, everyone. I hope this video was a little bit helpful. Remember, if the vocabulary and grammar were a bit of a problem for you, work on that vocabulary. And always remember, the best way to improve reading is by reading lots and reading for fun and reading something you're interested in so that your brain is actively engaged in reading it. I hope that was helpful for you. Please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.